Alrighty, here we go. We're gonna do some slope work here. Slope from 2 points. In Khan Academy, we're gonna be given a slope, or not a slope. We're gonna be given two points, two ordered pairs or two coordinates, and it's our task to determine what is the slope of those of the line that would go through those 2 points. This is very similar to a table. Really, it's not that much different. I mean, if I was to do a table over here, I'd have x, I'd have y. My first point is x comma y. My first would be 1 0, and my second one, my x and my y, this is supposed to be y, is 3 8. It's really no different than finding slope in table. It's actually just a really easy table, because instead of giving you a whole bunch of points and a whole bunch of data or information, they're making it simple for you. They're saying, hey, you just got these 2 points here. There's not a whole bunch of information, just two sets of information. This set, the first order pair, and the second order pair. From there, find your slope. Slope is our change in y over our change in x. All right, so from 0 to 8, our y value increased by 8. From 1 to 3, our x value increased by 2. So our change in y is 8, and our change in x is 2, and that simplifies to 4. So our correct answer here is 4. As you can see, the way Khan Academy's got set up, basically they got the same numbers, just a question of is it positive, is it negative, and what goes on top, what goes on bottom. We know this to be 4. All right. Let me go ahead and get back to this here. Let's see, slope from 2 points. Let's get back in there. I'll do 4 more problems. We'll do 5. I'm feeling crazy. Let's do 5. Okay. What is the slope of the line through the point 1, -1, and the point 5, -7? So you don't have to write it as a table. You can just do it by working here. It's just a question of, do you want to go from left to right or right to left? Me, I always go from left to right, always. It's just how I am. We read graphs from left to right, so I just feel like, you know what, let's just stick with that. So from -1 to 7, focusing on our change in y right now, our y values. From -1 to -7, if I was to draw that on a number line, if I started at -1 and I went to -7, that means I'm actually getting smaller, right? The number is getting smaller. So that means we had to subtract, in this case, 6 to get there. So our change in y is -6. It went down by 6. Our change in x went from 1 to 5. Going from 1 to 5 is actually an increase of 4. So you're adding 4. And that can be simplified to -3 halves. -3 halves is the answer that we get here, which is D. And so the one thing that I will say that I think I've seen students struggle with the most, first off, make sure you put change in y on top, and then I'll finish this off. I realize now I didn't finish my notes here. My change in x goes on bottom, all right? Make sure that you get that right. That's probably the biggest misconception that I see, is they have the x on top and the y on bottom. The second part is make sure you're calculating the difference from one to the other well. Like what would I have to add to that number to get this? And then stay consistent. If you're going from left to right, always go from left to right. Or if you're doing right to left, always do right to left. Let's go ahead and do 3 more problems here. I don't think I'll talk as much in them as I did on the first ones. All right, here is the question. What is the slope of a line through 2, -2, and 9, 3? Our y went from -2 to 3, so our y value is increasing by 5. Our x went from 2 to 9, so our x increased by 7. So our slope is 5/7. 2 to go, and just like that, let's clear this off. All right, change in y from 8 to -4, we went down 12. And if you struggle with some of this, I always draw visuals. This is 8. This is -4. This is 0 somewhere. You have to go down 8, plus you have to go down 4 more. So it's going down 12 to get from 8 to -4. On the other one, from -1 to 3, you are increasing. You're adding 4. Same thing if I was to look at it like this. From -1 to 3, you had to go +1 to get to 0, plus an additional 3 to get to 3. So it ends up being +4. -12 over 4, that can be divided. 12 divided by 4 is 3, and a negative divided by positive is a negative. So our answer is going to be -3, D. And let's do one more, and then we'll call it good here. Okay, what is the slope of the line through -1, -7, and 3, -9? Change in y from -7 to -9 to +9. That would be 16. Again, I'll draw the number line here. -7, 9, 0, somewhere in the middle. If you're going from -7 to 0, that is adding 7. And then to get over to 9, you have to add 9 more. +7 plus 9 makes a +16 altogether. From here all the way to here, it's adding 16. From -1 to 3, we are adding 4. And so 16 divided by 4 can be reduced or simplified down to 4. And there you go. All right, so I think this is actually pretty straightforward if you've been doing well with tables. If you were struggling with tables, then you're probably going to struggle here again. And just practice, practice, practice. It makes sense why you might get 3 out of 4, because you made a mistake. Tiny mistake here or there. Do I really want to do 4 more problems? My personal response is yes, of course you want to do 4 more problems. Let's get this right. Let's get 4 out of 4. It's up to you, though. All right, guys, have a great day. As always, let me know if you need help. Keep fighting.